back to the Pro Series podcast today. Today's episode is a little bit different. This is episode 78, and I kind of wanted to bring a different element of design into play, and this is industrial design. My guest is Parker Whitehead. He is the creator and the owner of Moonshot camper vans. It's a modular system that he has built for anybody that is on the road constantly. It is basically your own kitchen in one modular piece. It is a very cool product. You could go head over to his social media, like always, and follow him and see his journey. But before we jump into this podcast, please make sure you like, subscribe, and review this podcast on wherever you listen to podcasts. And now I hope you enjoy episode 78 with Parker Whitehead. Parker, thank you so much for hopping on a call today to be on the Pro Series podcast. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I always try to start out with how we're introduced, and Adrian Ramsey from Talk Design introduced us. Were you on his podcast?
I was.
Did it release yet?
Great conversation. It has not been released yet, so
okay.
I'm waiting to hear back from him on that.
I was gonna say I didn't hear it yet. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, we've shared so many guests in the past, and we kind of share the same. Our podcasts are very similar, and we kind of work together on finding and discovering people. So it's been kind of a fun relationship, especially and I love how you're going to Colorado. Where are you from now?
Philadelphia right now.
Okay, so we're kind of close. I'm in Pittsburgh.
Right. Great town, great architecture. I was very surprised when I went through that. Yeah.
So did you grow up in Philly?
No, I actually grew up on the plains of Oklahoma.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a dramatic difference.
It is quite a difference. It's I've had a pretty circuitous route through my life on where I've ended up and where I'm headed. So it's nothing good but grateful for that too.
Absolutely. I mean, you're obviously on here to talk about Moonshot. So I want you to give us a little bit of a brief synopsis on what it's all about and why you started it.
Okay. So Moonshot camper vans started several years ago when I started designing and building camper vans for people. My background's in industrial design. I got my start in designing and building museum exhibits, and then I went from there to building mobile retail solutions to camper vans and on and on and on. So over time, we have pivoted away from building one-off units to actually developing a product that is a modular system that it gets shipped to the customer's home or to the camper van builder themselves. And it's basically a plug and play system. So we call ourselves the Legos of camper vans. And that's what we are focusing on these days.
So the product itself, can you explain what if someone's building a van now, or if they have an existing van, what would the product be that they're adding to it?
So the way it works is that we're eliminating the need that people have, or that pain point that people have, that want to build a camper van, but they don't know construction methodology, they don't know, say, electrical or plumbing, by giving them a self-contained module. So we're starting with our kitchen module, which has everything you need: stove, water, all of that, and it's all within the module itself. So you don't have to mount a tank underneath somewhere. You don't have to run wiring from anywhere. You plug it in and charge it, and then you install it. And then when you're done with it at the end of the season, you can pop it out and store it away, and then have your van back. So we're starting with the kitchen module, and then we have a power module, and we have a storage module. And those three modules actually kind of work together, because when those three modules are in your van, then a bed platform will fold out and then provide you with a sleeping platform as well. So
that's so cool.
The main thing that we're doing is we're offering ease to people, and so you can get out there faster.
Yeah.
The point is to get out into nature. So that's what we're doing. We're facilitating that.
Gotcha. So what made you, a lot of times when people create products like this, they find something missing, like a plot, a hole in the market. Was there nothing out there like yours, or were you trying to figure out something that would help out a friend? Like, how did that all start out?
It's for me. It started out as I was traveling out west, hiking, and I kept running into camper van builders out there, and I was like, "Oh, where'd you get this?" Well, I built it. Or, "Oh, where did you get this?" Well, I had somebody build it for a lot of money, and I didn't see anything on the market that was a self-contained, easy to use kit system, modular system. Um, there are kits out there, but they come in a lots of pieces, and you have to put holes in your van to install them, and it's just a little bit more complicated. So as I started talking to people, a lot of them were like, "Look, I want to have something I can just pop in and go." So being that I had a background in museum exhibit design, I
Okay.
had gotten I had a lot of familiarity with how people approach objects and how people approach sort of the usability of an object of a material object. So I went with that and decided, let's go ahead and give somebody something that's going to be not so daunting and not so complicated, because it's already you already have the challenges of being in camper van life. So
Mm,
let's take out some of those variables in the equation to make it easier.
absolutely. So, did you grow up in like a camper van, like family, or from vacations or something, or is this something you kind of figured out later in life?
I grew up on a small ranch in Oklahoma, which kind of trains you to figure out stuff because the work never ends. There's always something, and
Yeah.
there's never any sort of off the shelf solution. So you learn to make things. I've always done design and built things like my entire life. So it's something I came to a little bit later in life, and it kind of went along with. Uh, I started long distance hiking, and when I started getting into the outdoor industry and the outdoor space, it all kind of just amalgamated together because it combined the things that I like the most, outdoor space, good design, business development. So I was happy to see that my three biggest passions actually could be turned into a real company. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So is it just you right now, or do you have how many employees do you have with the company?
So I did have four employees since I'm doing the move, and we're going from doing one-off builds. I'm actually going to a sort of manufacturing model. So I've
Okay.
kind of closed everything down to a certain level. I am in fundraising mode now. So I'm actually talking to investors and
Okay.
getting all those into position. Yep. And then we'll be reopening out in the mountains of Colorado, which is very
Well, that's
exciting.
awesome. Have you ever
Yeah.
thought about doing a Kickstarter?
Yeah. So we'll be doing I did a business accelerator, so I got a lot of experience with, like I said, fundraising and pre-seed funding. And part of the process is it's going to be a Kickstarter and an Indiegogo uh, crowdfunding to start with, and
Okay.
then we'll go from there. Yeah, we already have patents on everything. We already have all that stuff and all that infrastructure in place. And I've done just-in-time builds for people, but we're looking at scaling. We want to get to scale so that we can just be a really scalable, sizable business that's going to meet people's needs. And then
Absolutely.
it's all the other cool stuff you can do too, like all the culture building, all the connection. The outdoor industry is a great industry to be in.
Oh yeah. It's
Yeah.
especially since after COVID, it kind of escalated.
Mm.
There's more stores coming out now that are strictly outdoor basis, kind of like
Yeah, national park. Yeah, national park visitation has just skyrocketed. The outdoor and the camping industry itself, $8.5 billion in revenue in 2022. It just, yeah, it was the thing that people could do, and now people are like, oh, wait a minute, I don't need to pay a bunch of money and stay in a building. I can actually get out there and enjoy myself.
Oh yeah. I have a
Yeah.
customer that I was talking to that kind of did that. They're going on the beach vacations all the time. And then they
Mm.
realized if they get, I'm not familiar with it, but you like some type of membership that you could visit state parks from all over the country and
Hmm.
park your
Yeah.
van there. And they just said like that's the way to see. see the country and just be
Mhm.
it's it's a lot cheaper with a family as well.
It is yeah, your savings on that is really great. Your flexibility is really nice. Um, and a lot of industries and organizations and are like really leaning into that. So Colorado has now enacted keep Colorado wild. So when you get your vehicle registration, you can pay an extra $29 on your registration, and that helps for search and rescue and preserving wild places. But it also gives you membership to state parks. It's just really nice to see like the big organizations really see the value.
Yeah. That's a hot place to
Mhm.
live right now. I feel like everybody's moving
It
out there
is.
just because of
Yeah.
exactly the nature.
Yeah, exactly. I got to know Colorado because I hiked the Colorado Trail, so I walked it from
Okay.
one border to the other border. Just
Really?
loved it, and yeah. So I've done 10 long distance trails. I'm at 10,000 miles plus at this point, and I've always found that that's like the best way to get to know a place
That's
on
so
foot.
cool. How long does it take? Do you have to like take breaks during that or
It depends on the trail. So when I did the Appalachian Trail, that's 2,180 miles. So that's 6 months for that. Um, Colorado Trail was 560. So that was about 2 months. I just did the John Muir Trail. Um, that's around 370 miles, I think. That took about a month or two. So depends on the terrain, the conditions.
yeah. So I mean, you're
Yeah.
obviously going to a perfect place for this product itself.
Yes. And
So
the location, I'm moving to Estes Park, which is at the base of the Rocky Mountain National Park. So
okay.
perfect. Yeah. Yeah.
So what's the future other than what you said with the manufacturer and everything? What does the future of um, Moonshot look like to you in like the next 5 to 10 years? Different products? Are you trying to get more modules for
Yeah.
the whole camper? Like,
Well, it's really exciting because the more designers I talk to and the more sort of input I get, there are several different markets that are open, not just with camper vans. So we start with camper vans, we'll develop the outdoor products and go with those and see what works the best. Mm, Having a strong base of camper van builders as our clients
mhm.
seems, from the feasibility study, that makes a lot of sense. Um, it makes things kind of easier for everybody. Um, but the other sectors that have been opening up or I've been getting inquiries for are tiny homes, building modular systems for tiny homes,
Oh.
and ADUs, auxiliary dwelling units. I don't know if you've heard of those.
I have not, no.
So the way it's working is a lot of cities now are starting to see that building their tax base and their density, building a high rise is not the way to do it. It ends up splitting a community. So they have been changing legislation, California, I think Colorado, a couple other places, to where people can build basically tiny homes on at the back of their lot and then rent that out. So you build the tax base and the density, but you keep the neighborhoods the same. So tiny homes and ADU units, as they're called, have that's another market that's really gone up. So we're looking at modular systems for that. And then I've had boat builders and boat people approach me for modular systems for their boats as well. So there's a lot of opportunity.
Yeah, it's like a never-ending process. I never even thought about the
Yeah.
boats or the tiny homes,
Yeah.
or even just like I know my family has like a barn on property, and just someone like something like that. Is it running off of electricity? Is it gas, or how does that work?
The units that we have now, like I said, the kitchen unit, because of some really good products that have come out, is it's all a rechargeable system. So you can either wire it in or you can charge it to take it out. Because a good part of the client base is not a full-time van lifer. They're more for the weekends or they're seasonal, things like that. To design modular systems for ADUs, of course, those would be wired in to the system as well in the sort of plug and play type
Okay,
setup. So yeah, yeah, and boats are they're essentially vans on water, so they're 12-volt systems within boats, so you can do the same thing.
absolutely. So I mean, I'm looking at your website right now,
Hmm.
and it kind of it's really cool how it breaks it down into the different someone that went to the design school and is interested in this type of stuff. I like how you put
Mhm.
the mock-ups from the programs that you use, which is awesome, and it explains it all. Can anybody just come up on here and buy it, or do you have to be maybe like a like a RV buyer? I'm not sure. How do you do that?
Yeah. Right now we are B2C, so anybody can go out there and pre-order. So we're
Okay.
doing a pre-order campaign. They can order it. They'll be able to order it at a discount, and then when they're ready, we'll ship them to them.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and what's interesting, what's I found is what I really like about this is we are not taking a cabinetry approach to it. We're actually taking a luggage approach. So we're looking at the manufacturing processes that luggage is made, the whole press
Okay.
form systems and all that. That's why you kind of look at the unit itself. That's what we're looking at. We're thinking, okay, so if the module is going to be removable and you're going to move it around, let's go ahead and build it out like luggage so it's easy to be handled and it's going to store way better for you. So it's been really interesting. And I like the fact that we're going with those rounded covers, corners, that sort of organic look, which sets us apart from what's on the market.
Absolutely. I was actually going to mention that. That's something especially listeners need to go look at on your social media and your website because it's nothing what you'd picture, which is a
Right.
good thing. Because
Mm-hmm.
I'm picturing, like you said, cabinetry or, very boxy product. But this literally does look like if you have it all closed up, it looks like one of those storage units or a piece of luggage that you just have in the back of your
Mm-hmm. So what's really fun about that is if you look at it from an anthropological sense, right? So from evolutionary psychology, we're a moving species. We've always moved. We've always moved in groups. That's how we survive. That's why we like to do parades and things like that. You can go back in history and you can start to see that same sort of form factor reflected earlier on. The trail kitchen from the 1800s, the steamer trunk from the 1700s. Any sort of like traveling system has it's the same form factor that's been used for centuries, and I'm really happy that we're being able to like plug back into that and do a little bit of a throwback to that same sort of thing that's worked. So it comes down to that materiality of a product itself. Like how do you approach it? How does it feel good? And we found out all that roundedness, that organic shape that we're kind of hardwired to enjoy. It makes it a lot more approachable. When I did museum exhibits, it's the same thing. Hard corners, hard fractal type stuff looks great, but it's not an approachable system. So when I was building
Absolutely.
food trucks, same thing. The food trucks were built in a really approachable way.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So once you get to stay in like 5 years or so, are you going to be able to make these custom colors or how they people order them?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the nice thing is there's such great uh, options out there when it comes to material surfaces. So down the line, we would love to have it where people can just choose what the surface is that they want to have. So you can do vinyl shrinking, and it actually looks really good. Um, but there's also a ton of different types of flat sort of panel materials out there. I mean, so many different options.
Yeah.
There's a couple that I really like. Um, that yeah, it'll be nice for people to have those choices. And I think that one of the latest product lines, appliance lines out in Home Depot now are refrigerators with snap-on panels, so you
Yeah.
can change how it looks. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it
They
makes
even do
sense. People have been
they,
doing it.
yeah, they do that with sinks too now. Like farmhouse sinks, they
Hmm.
snap off fronts.
Yeah,
So
same thing.
for the sinks in this unit, is it have to be hooked up to a water source?
So Domatic has come up with a two-tank system
Okay.
with a rechargeable faucet. So you can fill your two tank system. You can put your unit in, fill your tanks, slide those in. So you're not carrying this really heavy thing. And
Yeah.
then the faucet system is actually its own standalone system. So you just charge it up and you use it. So you don't have to run any wiring or anything like that. So the sink is a silicon expandable sink. So
Yeah.
that pops out. You can use that. Yeah. And then there's an option if you want to. we can add an option to where there's a drain tank within the module itself where you can run the drainage outside if you want, or you could run it if you want to install the drain tank on the van. You can do that. We're not going to do that.
Yeah. I'm just thinking of like I'm looking at this and like I'm a big country music person and I
Mm-hmm.
tailgate a lot. I mean, tailgating's big in Pittsburgh. I don't
Yep.
some areas it isn't. But this is a huge tailgating thing too. Like if you had a back of a pickup truck,
Right.
like that's huge, like festivals and stuff. This is a big product for that.
So after a while, I actually changed out the form factor, changed the sizing on it so that it fits into Subaru Outbacks, the back of pickup trucks.
Okay.
It fits into crossover vehicles because I wanted that particular unit to be as versatile because it's the one you're going to use the most.
Yeah, yeah, that's smart.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking like every family has like those coolers, like, and that's the size of those igloo coolers. Is that what like the big ones? Is that the kind of the size of this is?
It's about the size of that, and then we're gonna do another style that will fit the Sprinter van. So if we get enough people that want to do say Sprinter and Dodge, we'll size that up because it's the same structure. You just size it differently if you need to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
and
awesome.
that particular model, the way I worked it is it's got a pivot point on it. So when you're driving, it locks against the wall out of the way. Because I always hated cutting off the flow through of a van. I always hated to where you open to the back of the van, you can't get in it. I always
Yeah,
felt like that was a bad. So that's got a locking pivot point. So when you're driving, it's locked against the side of the van. Then when you use it, you unlock it, pivot it out 90 degrees, and you're able to stand at the back of your vehicle, use it that
oh, that's cool. That's
way.
really cool. Wow. Geez, I mean, I could talk all day about this, the website and your social media. I mean, it's it's amazing, but I want people to visit your website and social media. So I want to end with where people could find you on the website and social media.
So they can go to www.moonshotcampervans.com. There are links to all of our social media on the website. But you can find us on all the, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, not Twitter. So I'm trying to think of anywhere else that we're up. LinkedIn. Yeah, we're on all those platforms.
Awesome. And I'm seeing now that you have like that apparel. I mean, I like your
Mhm.
logo. I mean, we were talking about my logo
Thanks.
behind, but I really like your logo.
That was the first thing I did.
Okay.
Was the first thing. Yeah, before anything else, I hired a branding company and got the branding in place because what's the saying? Brand is perceived value.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah. So it instantly gives legitimacy.
exactly. I like it. Yeah, awesome. Well, Parker, thank you so much for hopping on and taking the time to
Yeah.
be on the podcast. I can't wait to get this out and people to look at your site and your social media.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And watch for us out in Colorado. Um, I am actually going out there for another position if you wanted me to fill you in on that.
Absolutely. Go for it.
Okay. So I have been hired by the Estes Park Economic Development Corporation to head up their entrepreneurial center. So I am going to be out there meeting with other entrepreneurs and small business owners, which is really exciting. So it meshes exactly with what I'm doing anyway. So I'll be
Absolutely.
working with outdoor brands, and I'm just so excited.
Yeah, so does that make this business harder being a side gig?
No, because what happens now is everything is in place. I've done my part as a founder. So after this, my part as a founder is advocating and finding the money for the business.
Yeah.
Everything else comes down to the team. So I've got a team set up as like a freelance team set up to get everything going once we work on the next step that we're going to go. So once that happens, yeah, I can just let them run with
Yeah. And like you said,
it. Yeah,
it's nice because it gives you legitimacy talking to these other entrepreneurs and being
hmm
able to show them what you've done and then also have advice for them because you've been
yeah,
there and done it.
yeah. been there and done it. It's going to be really. I'm really excited that it's the parallel because it also pushes me to continue to develop myself as an entrepreneur and learning those sort of good points and that empathy because it all comes down to empathy. So it just meshes so well that I couldn't pass it up. I had to
Oh,
take it.
absolutely. It's perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
Huh. Well, I can't wait to follow you along on that journey and also Moonshot's journey. We'll stay connected and
Hmm.
reach out whenever.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful. Thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Yeah, thank you for coming on.